A warm greeting to you all. I trust that you are taking care of yourself and helping your family well in this crisis time. This pandemic situation has given us many opportunities to discover ourselves. I am sure you are spending your time very well in the midst of your loving family and exploring it fully in all the dimensions it offers. This apart, many of you may still have a good amount of free time, and I am sure that you would like to use this time to discover and learn a lot. It is in this context the Department of English SF has organized an enlightening session on writing research. For this session, we have the most eminent and dynamic person, Dr. Premalada Dinaharlal, here with us. She has a degree in comparative literature and journalism and mass communication and a gold medal for creative writing in English. After a long service in Holy Cross College, she retired as the head of the Department of English. With her experience as a research guide for MPhil and PhD scholars, she is going to talk to you on the topic writing a research paper. At this present juncture, it is desirable that you take note of the talk and try to equip yourself with all-round capabilities and skills on research. Now, let's listen to the talk.
Greetings to all of you dear participants of this webinar on writing a research paper. I wish to express my gratitude to Mrs. Prabina, head of the department, the coordinators and the faculty of the Department of English, SF, Holy Cross College, Nagarkoil, for this opportunity to address the UG and PG students who are geared up to take their first steps in research. What can be explained in 10 hours, dear students, I am going to condense in a capsule form and give you in less than an hour. Every point I am making here will be helpful to your research. Please follow carefully. In my talk today, I am going to focus on research methodology. At the outset, I wish to take the thread from a talk you heard just a few days ago, that is Dr. Ramanathan's talk on avenues of research in English studies. As Professor made it clear to us, research is an intellectually enriching academic exercise where one intellectual opens up to a community of intellectuals. As he said, research is a planned process and a systematic investigation. It comprises identification of the research problem, selecting the sources, that is the text, interpretation of the sources in an ingenious way, arriving at healthy findings, incorporating our own ideas, and finally, dissemination of facts. From there, I am moving on to the question, what is a research paper? A research paper requires a lot of research. It's not just an explanation of a topic. A research paper must give a perspective or make an argument. Then comes the most important part, that is presenting the research findings and the scholar's own ideas in a linear, understandable research paper format. Here comes my topic. How do I write my dissertation or my research paper? In journalism, we say delivery is more important than pregnancy. In research, let me tell you emphatically, give more attention to how you write than what you write. How you write is more important than what you write. Of course, to do that, we have a methodology, a guidebook. It will guide us at every step and in everything we do in our research work. MLA stands for Modern Language Association. Its goal has been to maintain an accepted standard of scholarship in language and literature. It is an association of scholars and educators established in 1883 They have produced a guidebook for how to write, format, and cite sources. Scholars in many fields are using it all over the world today. What came out as a small style sheet has crossed several editions. 6th edition came out in 2003, 7th in 2009, and the 8th edition in 2016. Now we are using the 8th edition. Recently, Brown Little has updated it. It's a small handbook and the title is MLA the Easy Way. There is not a discovery in science, however sparkling it may be, that does not arise out of what went before. Sir Isaac Newton said, "If I have seen further than other men, it is because I have stood on the shoulders of giants." Ideas and information just don't flow from everyone's mind, even from the mind of a genius. Everyone knows this. We, of course, read a number of secondary sources, criticism, and theories and use them in our paper. It is proper to communicate to our reader that we have used other people's work to support our findings, and it makes it easy for our reader to find the same sources we have used. If we don't acknowledge that we have borrowed, it will be like stealing, and intellectual theft is known as plagiarism, and plagiarism is a grievous mistake. Plagiarism is academic dishonesty. Beware and escape. With this note of warning, let me raise a few questions. Answering these 5 true or false questions should help you understand exactly what the word plagiarism means. Getting involved will help you to guess what is right and what is wrong. Are you ready for the quiz? Plagiarism means the presentation of the works, words, or ideas of others as one's own. Have you answered it? The answer is true. If we ask someone else to write and present that proudly as our own, it is nothing but intellectual theft. Now, turning in all or part of another student's work as part of one's own dissertation is considered plagiarism. Some students may use this as a shortcut and easy method. This is cheating, and if caught, will be punished severely. Submitting a paper you had written for a previous course is considered plagiarism. This is false. Self-plagiarism does exist in academic writing, and it is good practice to get the approval of an instructor before doing so. Your BA research work cannot be used for MA as you did group work in BA, and in MA it is going to be individual work. If you write an excellent thesis in MA with your supervisor's permission, you can modify it, add on to it, look at the problem from a different perspective and use it for research. Hiring someone to write a paper and then taking credit for it is considered plagiarism. Taking credit for someone else's work is a shameful act. Please never indulge in such cheap practice. Submitting a report purchased or retrieved from somewhere is considered plagiarism. This is true. Submitting a report that is purchased or taken is considered plagiarism. Dear students, take the warning and write your thesis on your own. Using a style communicates to our reader that we have used other people's work to support our findings. Acknowledging the sources as per the style will save us from plagiarism. Imagine preparing a cake without following a recipe. You know what the result will be. Similarly, if we start writing a thesis or a research paper without following some guidelines, everything will turn out to be a mess. It is here that MLA Handbook comes to our help. Use 8th edition. It guides us right from choosing a topic through different stages or milestones up to submitting the thesis. Follow the guidelines meticulously as you cross each milestone. MLA provides writers with a uniform format. Following it creates mental discipline. Proper MLA style shows that writers are conscientious of the standards of writing, and so they sharpen their critical ability. Properly documenting sources ensures that an author is not plagiarizing, and this creates credibility and accountability. Moreover, when we use a style, we apply specific design rules to our paper. In so doing, we give our paper uniformity, consistency, readability, authenticity, and reliability. The research supervisor must be familiar with basic MLA format. Even if she had used 6th or 7th edition for her research, she must update and know the changes in the 8th edition. The scholar needs to know MLA style as she or he has to document with academic integrity. It helps the scholar right from choosing the topic. Now let us go step by step and see how MLA Handbook guides us in our research. The world of literature is full of magical things and it is inexhaustive. We have to choose from the ever new and ever fresh field of literature. If you choose a topic which interests and challenges you, it will decide the effort and enthusiasm you put into your research. Your attitude towards the topic may well determine the end product. When you decide your topic, focus on a limited aspect. First, decide what you are selecting: ELT, translation, film studies, or literature. If literature, drama, essays, short stories, novels, or poetry. Imagine you are deciding on poetry. Now you have to choose which poetry: British, American, Australian, African, Indian, or what? If you are happy with Indian poetry in English, choose your author: Ezekiel, or Shiv K. Kumar, or Parthasarathi, or Kamala Das, or who? Suppose you fix on Kamala Das. Limit your focus to her poems on love, or poems on nature, or poems on death. Select a few poems and start working on it. I used to suggest to my scholars to choose the latest, preferably the prize-winning texts. In the dearth of secondary sources, they can become one of the first to contribute to the world of criticism. However, remember to select a subject you can manage and try to interpret it from a new perspective. Get the supervisor's approval for the topic before embarking on full-scale research. It's very important that you stay firm in your decision. If you start wavering, remember, rolling stones gather no moss. Stay committed to your decision. Once you have embarked on your research journey, the second step is collecting information. We are in a world of information explosion. Go to the right place and gather quality material. In a library, go through almanacs, atlases, encyclopedias, books, journals, reports, government publications, etc., etc. Read and evaluate, bookmark, print out, photocopy, and take notes of relevant information. When you surf the internet, evaluate sites critically and search for your material from scholarly sites. Note, what follows is a vital information. Follow it carefully. As you gather your resources, jot down full bibliographical information, that is, name of the author, title, place of publication, publisher, date of publication, page numbers, etc. And if it is electronic source, URL, creation or modification dates on web pages, and your date of access. When you hunt for information, take notes. Note making can be done in 3 ways. Taking passages verbatim. When you do this, use quotation marks. You can also change the matter into your own language, that is paraphrasing. When you paraphrase, stick to the author's spirit, never manipulate. You can also summarize the ideas and write in your own language. In all the 3 cases, note down the page number and the bibliographical details. Promptly acknowledge them in your writing. Step 3 is writing down a short, all-inclusive thesis statement. Do some critical thinking and write your thesis statement down in 1 sentence. Your thesis statement is like a declaration of your belief. The main portion of the dissertation will consist of arguments to support and defend this belief. The topic may change as you write, so you may need to revise your thesis statement after completion to reflect exactly what you have discussed in the paper. This statement must appear in the beginning of your thesis. Everyone may face a starting trouble. Overcome that and get started. Plan well. As the saying goes, if we fail to plan, we plan to fail. So plan and schedule to reach your milestones. As Nelson Mandela says, remember to celebrate milestones as you prepare for the road ahead. The purpose of an outline is to help you think through your topic carefully and organize it logically before you start writing. Make the first outline tentative. In the introduction, write about the chief reason for the paper. Explain briefly the major points and why readers should be interested in your topic. In the body of your thesis, when you present your interpretations or arguments, remember the rule of 3. The rule of 3 is, first make a statement and find at least 3 supporting arguments for each position. In the conclusion, summarize your arguments and explain why and how you arrived at these findings. You can also incorporate your suggestions and recommendations. There are some organizing principles that MLA Handbook is suggesting that a researcher can follow while organizing the ideas. Here is a model outline that you can see leisurely. Note how headings, side headings, and subheadings have been prepared and numbered before writing the first draft. Organizing is the most important stage in writing a research paper. Organize, analyze, synthesize, sort and digest the information you have collected from various sources to effectively communicate your thoughts, ideas, insights, and research findings to others. The points mentioned in this slide are very important. Follow them strictly. Include only relevant and understandable information. Don't hesitate to discard all that is irrelevant. Use your own words and your own language. Document all ideas borrowed or quotes used to avoid plagiarism. Jot down detailed bibliographical information and keep it ready for your work's cited page. To everything there is a format. We can gather information from multiple sources, books by single and multiple authors or editors, articles in journals, web page, email correspondence, CD-ROM, online source previously appearing as print source, letter, memo, speech, personal interview, advertisement, TV show, film, work of art, legal source, government documents, and the list is endless. We should know how to cite the sources. A citation is a brief description of an information source, an article, book, or website. Citation includes such items as the author's name, article title, publication title, volume, issue, pages, place and date of publication. This is a vast area. Within the limited time, I am not taking it up. My suggestion is that whenever you make a citation entry, use the handbook as a reference book and follow the examples given in the handbook. Here I am going to raise a few questions which you are going to answer. These questions are specifically geared to help students understand exactly what information they need to include when citing sources within a paper. Should you always document and place within quotations any verbatim information and unique wording you borrow from another writer or source? Yes, definitely you should. This is false. You should always give appropriate acknowledgement when reporting or paraphrasing another's wording. Students must include the name of the source, book, journal, magazine, newspaper, etc. in their in-text documentation when they include verbatim information from a print as opposed to online source. True or false? This is false. In-text citation contains only enough information to enable readers to find the sources in the works cited list, which usually means that the author's last name and page number will be sufficient. The question is, when you are quoting a great person, say like Dr. Abdul Kalam or any person with a long tail of degrees, should you mention all the credentials in text? Definitely no. In text, just mention the last name of the author and give the page number. Yes, summary of a chapter must be documented. False is the answer. The information taken from a web page should be treated like all other information and should be documented. Authority and reliability are our responsibility when it comes to citing websites. We should evaluate each site carefully before deciding to use any information from it. Answer is false. This should be considered common knowledge, and both general and historical truths need not be documented. False. In fact, cutting and pasting from any source will only confuse you later, and it will lead to plagiarism. Of course, TV news, radio programs, works of art, graphs, charts, images, and photos are considered information and must be documented. Having said all these, we move to step 6. It is writing the first draft. It is a rough draft. Use note cards. If you are using a laptop, use Word files. Name them or number them promptly so that you can move forward confidently without confusion. Language to be used in our research report is very important. Keep your language short and simple. KISS. Let this be your mantra. As Oscar Wilde says, don't use big words. They mean so little. Follow the ABCD principle. A for accuracy, B for brevity, C for conciseness, and D for directness. If we are concise, direct, and clear, our ideas will become transparent and our writing will become readable. Imagine you are standing near a tank full of water. The water is crystal clear. You are looking into it. Sure, you will be able to see the fish at the bottom darting to and fro and the pebbles lying at the bottom. Similarly, if your style is clear, your readers will be able to understand your message easily. An important point to remember while writing is avoiding discriminatory language. There should not be any word that may offend another person belonging to a caste, community, class, religion, or political party. Above all, there should not be any word used with gender bias. I'll show you just a few examples. Usually, we associate managers, doctors, and top officials with men, and quite sadly, we have internalized the wrong idea that all those who take up subservient roles are women. To overcome this patriarchal attitude, in a sentence like, a nurse is trained to understand her patient's emotions. Why do we think a nurse should only be a woman? Here we can use the plural. Better say, nurses are trained to understand their patients' emotions. In the next sentence, The average teenager worries about his physical fitness. It sounds as though girls don't care about fitness. In fact, they do all the more. Eliminate the pronoun and make it the average teenager worries about physical fitness. Doesn't it sound better? There are many ways to avoid gender bias. I am showing you a list of words we naturally use that eliminate women altogether. Replace them with the appropriate word. I'm just picking out 2 or 3 words from the list shown. Instead of average man, why don't we say the average person or ordinary people? Instead of craftsman, use the word artisan. Instead of mankind, say humankind or people or humanity. Okay, having eliminated all the wrong words or words that express bias, when your rough draft is ready, step 7 is revise your outline and rough draft. Read your paper for content errors, check facts, arrange and rearrange ideas to follow your outline, reorganize your outline if necessary, reread your paper for language errors. Once you are satisfied, get someone else to read it over. Sometimes a second pair of eyes can see mistakes that you missed. It is said that anybody can write. It needs a heaven-born genius to edit. So give your draft to a genius to edit. That genius should be your well-wisher. Finally, when your paper is error-free, take the final draft. To make it neat and attractive, format the dissertation. There is a method for formatting quotations. When we use short quotations, we include them within the body of our writing and place the words within quotation marks and the page number within the punctuation mark. Note carefully, for long quotations, more than 4 lines or more than 3 lines of poetry, we indent the passage, remove quotation marks, and mark the page number outside of punctuation. The title is the part of a paper that is read the most, and it is usually read first. The title summarizes the main idea or ideas of your study. A good title contains the fewest possible words needed to adequately describe the content and the purpose of your research paper. Capitalize all important words in the title. Select sender justification for the title. Make your title short and short. When you format the text, leave 1-inch margin on all sides and make the text double-spaced throughout. Whenever a writer uses information from a source, that source should be cited in the text. The citation of the source within the text directs the reader to the full bibliographic information about that source which is listed on the works cited page. Works cited page begins after the last page of the paper. It is double spaced as the rest of the paper, has the words works cited centered at the top of the page, and uses hanging indent for the entries that are arranged in an alphabetical order. This is just a model. For different entries, there are different formats. It may be difficult to keep everything in one's memory. My advice would be to keep MLA Handbook with you when you format the works cited page and strictly follow the instructions given in MLA Handbook. The ultimate milestone for any student is submitting the final thesis. The thesis is the culmination of months of hard work. Having completed the work, you have the joy of seeing it in a bound volume. You can submit your thesis as a bound volume or also electronically in a CD. Oh, what joy when you see the fruit of your labor. By now, you would have learned to think for yourself, write by yourself, relate with your mentor, the faculty of the department, and other fellow researchers. By now, you would have developed valuable life skills like time management, multitasking, and honed communication skills, teamwork skills, and leadership skills. So you have every reason to celebrate. Personally, dear students, I wish to tell you 3 things. 1. Never plagiarize. Tap your own talents and your own skills. 2. Never compromise on quality. 3. Do smart work in your journey of excellence. Best wishes, dear students. Hope you found the session useful. Thank you. Thank you once again, Mrs. Prabina and her team.